Okay, so I wanted to take a minute today and talk about using technology to better manage our media files. In this case, this is both still images and video. And the big problem that I'm running into, and I think probably everyone else is running into, is the sheer size of these files. Um, the images coming off my Sony full frame, even compressed coming out of the camera, are between 65 and 75 megabytes. And it's not just the size of these files, it's the number. I think since we are not paying for film and we are shooting digitally in essence for free, we're comfortable walking out with several hundred images from a photo shoot. And the size and the number tend to add up pretty quickly. And it's not just the size of the storage that we're taking up on our local drives, it's the time that's required to send this up to the cloud to be backed up, and the cost to go ahead and keep those backups going. So what I want to do is just talk about a utility I found. Very simple, as the best tools are, that goes ahead and at least shows me the scale of the problem, even if it doesn't solve it. So we'll go ahead and we'll start by opening up a web browser. It will paste in the URL. And this is a very easy download. We go download, 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 and we wait 4 to 5 seconds so it can display the ads. And we have it downloaded. We open it up. Right click to extract all. And here we go. Now the first thing I'll point out is that this does have a very comprehensive user manual here, which I won't get into today, but it might be something you want to go into in the future. But the most important thing is that this does not have an install utility. There's no next, 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 or anything like that. You simply drag it to the desktop, minimize this window. So let's go ahead and double click the icon. Now there are two modes that this can work in. The first is we can have it analyze an entire drive. The second is we can have it analyze a folder within that drive. And since most of us are storing or have some sort of organizational structure where we have videos and shoots divided into folders and such, I'm going to go ahead and do this by folder. So I'm going to go to Path. I'm going to go to Video. I'm going to go to Photos. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hit Start. And very quickly, it is going to go through each folder within that folder, and folder within that folder, and down to the files. And it's going to display to me graphically things like folder names, file names, file sizes, not just by name, but also by size. Now, this honestly is a little overwhelming. So what I could do is go up here and actually back off. As I said, right now you're looking at 4 levels of information. As I choose less information, that's 3 levels of information, 2 levels of information. So this will give me kind of a summary as to each folder, and if my shoots are divided up into folders, I got a pretty good idea of what's hogging all the space. I can see right here 37.7 gigabytes. I can see way down here 190.5 megabytes. So we can also go ahead and bring that detail back 1 level at a time, and even go further than we were previously. One of the most important things is we can use this button here to color code based off of the file type. This is very interesting and useful when you're trying to figure out what type of folder files are sitting in what folders. For instance, I can see here the greens are JPEGs. These are digital negatives. The reds are MP4s. But I can also go ahead and customize that. For instance, I can go into Edit, Configure, Styles, and I can add in different colors. For instance, I can go New Class. I can go now notice I'm not putting a file extension. I'm not putting a matching. I'm not putting star.dng. I'm simply putting down the actual file type. So I can go ahead and change that to red. Okay. And now I know where all my Adobe digital negatives are. There's a couple of other things you might want to play with up here and configure. You can play with the level of contrast if you're having trouble visualizing it. I would turn these two options off because this will pop up windows as it's scanning, and that can get quite annoying after a while. In geometry, you can go ahead and you can change the size, in essence, of what you're looking at. You could also change the level of detail. One other interesting is if you go here to export to file, you can export a text file grouped by folder, where I can see the folder name, the size, the file name, and the size, and export that as a text file. So if you wanted to, you could bring that into Excel. Now, you can highly customize this. You can go into configuration, and there appears to be an entire scripting language in here, which is probably covered in the user manual, but that's a little bit beyond the scope of this course. So in any event, this is all I wanted to cover today. Now, one of the things also that's interesting is that I can go into this shoot, and I can see all of these images, but I also have the ability to go right-click and do all the things that I would normally be able to do. For instance, I could open this in Photoshop to see what it's like. I could go ahead and look at the properties. I could go ahead and compress it. I could go ahead and send it to the cloud. So it really is a pretty flexible system here.